the equipment and the level of expertise, and I guess really having the person that knows what they're doing is what takes the project to, you know, that real professional level. And I noticed that, you know, like I tried to do it myself. I picked up like a Scarlett with my own band, you know, and I'm like, oh, I could record some stuff. And like, yeah, you know, to some extent you could pick it up, you know, some of it. But the thing is, to actually get to a professional level takes, I'm sure, like at least years of like figuring it out and trying to do it right.
A lot of bands are self-recording now, which is awesome. That, you know, I think it's so cool that we live in a day and age that you can just get stuff out there,
right?
Which is amazing. Like if you rewind the clock years and years, like you had to book a studio time, you know, you had to find a producer, you had to do all these things just to get something recorded. Now you just plug into your computer and you could get something out there. So I think it all depends on what you want to get out of your music. If you're someone that just wants, you know, constant, you know, releases and not really concerned with quality, then, you know, maybe you don't need to hire somebody professional. But the thing I always go back to is music's immortal. You know, once it's out there, it's out there.
Right.
You know, everybody, I'm sure, has that one song, that one recording that they listen back to and they like, every time, I just wish we did this or just wish we did that. There's room for, you know, finding the right level of getting a professional in to get it sounding the way you want, whether that's the entire process, you know, going to them from the start and having them work with you on your song, record you and then mix it and master it, or whether that's bands that they self-record and then they take the files and send them somebody to, and, you know, give them like a rough mix and be like, hey, this is the song, like, you know, here's what we're after, and then get them to, you know, get it sounding like a professional quality recording. Whatever your goal is for your music, just find the right person to deliver for that for you, you know?
There's the recording, then there's the mixing, then there's the mastering. So like, can you, you know, as an expert, like break that down for me and how, you know, what the differences are and when, you know, for what phases you might want to work with what people?
Typically there's an engineer, a producer, a mixer, and a mastering engineer, right? So the engineer is the gear guy. You know, he's the person that knows the gear inside and out, whether it's the microphones, whether it's what guitars or instruments are there, you know, positioning things, you know, putting mics up on cabs, miking up a drum kit, tuning the drums, like all that stuff. That's the job of the engineer. To me, the producer serves the song, right? So artist comes to a producer, that person may or may not be technically savvy, you know, like greatest, you know, arguably one of the greatest producers ever, Rick Rubin, doesn't, he can't turn knobs. He doesn't know what any of this stuff really does. He just knows what sounds good to him, right?
Right.
But, you know, a good producer's job is to take that song and the artist's vision and make it as good as it can possibly be. And that might be, you know, rewriting a lyric. It may be arrangement ideas of, you know, taking the outro and doing it earlier and making it not the outro and coming back to, you know, rewriting the song. It might be, you know, guitar tones. It might be, you know, what kind of sound you're going for your drums. You know, at the end of the day, the producer's job is, all right, the band says, here's the song we want to play. The producer's job is to make that song as great as possible while keeping the artist's vision at the core of all your decision making.